There's a painting in a story that does something impossible. It ages instead of its owner. The man stays young and beautiful. The portrait grows old, twisted, and corrupt. Every sin he commits shows up on the canvas instead of his face. Oscar Wilde wrote it as fiction in 1890, but scientists recently discovered he was describing something real, just backwards. Your face is not just a face, it is a record. Every emotion you have ever felt repeatedly has left a physical mark on the structure of your features, not metaphorically, literally. The muscles you use most frequently pull your face into the shape of who you actually are, and the people looking at you can read it, even when you think you're hiding everything. In 2020, researchers at the University of California ran a study on facial appearance and personality. They showed participants photographs of strangers, complete strangers, no names, no backgrounds, no context of any kind, just faces. The participants were asked to rate the personality of each person based on the photograph alone. Then the researchers compared those ratings to the actual personality scores of the people in the photographs. The correlation was not random. It was not even close to random. Strangers looking at a face for less than 1 second could predict personality traits with statistically significant accuracy. Extraversion, conscientiousness, emotional stability, all readable in a single glance at a face they had never seen before. The mechanism behind this is something researchers call the Dorian gray effect, named directly after Wilde's fictional portrait. The idea is this: your personality does not just live inside your mind. Over time, it migrates outward. It reshapes the physical structure of your face through a process so gradual you never notice it happening. Think about what happens when you smile genuinely thousands of times over decades. The muscles around your eyes develop in a specific way. The lines that form are different from the lines formed by forced smiles. Different muscles activate for real joy versus performed happiness. And over years, those differences become structural. They become part of your face permanently. A person who has spent decades in genuine warmth toward others develops a face that strangers instinctively trust. A person who has spent decades in contempt develops a face that strangers instinctively recoil from. Neither of them chose this outcome consciously, but both of them built it, one repeated expression at a time, one habitual emotion at a time, one decade at a time. In 2018, a study published in Psychological Science went further. Researchers worked with a set of photographs taken of people at age 20 and then again at age 70. They asked new participants to rate the personality of each person at both ages. At age 20, the ratings were inconsistent. Different raters saw different things in the same young face. But at age 70, something had changed. The ratings converged. Different strangers looking at the same elderly face agreed with each other at a dramatically higher rate. The face had become more legible, more itself, as if 50 years of living had carved away everything that wasn't true and left only what actually was. But here's the part that makes this genuinely uncomfortable. The process works in both directions. Just as kindness and warmth carve a specific kind of face over time, so does cruelty, so does bitterness, so does contempt. Researchers studying long-term couples found that partners who had spent decades together in unhappy relationships developed facial musculature that defaulted to expressions of disgust and contempt even at rest. Not during arguments, at rest. Their resting face had been physically restructured by years of repeated negative emotion. The face they woke up with every morning was the accumulated total of how they had chosen to feel about their life. There is a concept in neuroscience called Hebb's rule. Neurons that fire together, wire together. The pathways your brain uses most frequently become the easiest to travel. The emotions you practice most often become the ones your brain defaults to. And the muscles those emotions activate become the ones that define your face. You are not born with the face you end up with. You build it, slowly, quietly, without realizing the construction is happening. Oscar Wilde's original story was a warning about vanity, about a man so obsessed with staying beautiful that he sold his soul to avoid the consequences of how he lived. The portrait aged so he didn't have to. But reality has no such deal available. In reality, the portrait and the person are the same thing. Your face is the portrait, and it has been painting itself this entire time. Every laugh that reached your eyes, every moment of contempt you let sit on your face too long, every expression of genuine curiosity or closed-off suspicion, every decade of chosen emotion, all of it is there. All of it has always been there. Strangers are reading it in less than 1 second. The only question is what they're reading, and whether the person looking back at you in the mirror is the one you meant to become.